Hey, welcome back. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today was some one of the books I've been reading, and one of the books I finished reading was Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari. The book kind of goes on um, a survey of everything that has gone on in the last century. Going back from even I think even past that. I mean, like we started back with man and you know from migrating different parts of the world to how we handled small groups of people, larger groups of people, what we've understood from all the information we've basically have consumed, and where we could go next. And we're coming to the understanding that learning how to learn and being able to adapt, not for ourselves but for the greater good of our society, is going to be our best bet for survival. So equality is in, and immortality is basically the new thing now. Then in the form of immortality, is not the fact that you will live forever, basically, but you can um, create content that somehow someone can really learn about in the future, or in the near future, or the further future. But you will be able to help the world find the answer, whether you are here or not. So that brings you to the next kind of the part of this video is, what do you want to learn? Um, I feel like learning is going to be a big thing in the next in for 2020, and being able to quickly make that switch to over consuming each day with something that you're interested in, and learning how to turn like your favorite movies into a critical talks about what that how what makes you feel good about watching that video or that movie. If you are passionate about cooking, even though that there may be hundreds or even thousands of websites out there that are talking about cooking, maybe you are really passionate about it. You should kind of help that. Um, you should be able to help people get the recipes, or be able to even see what you do, and maybe you'll be able to help someone else. Um, the reason why I say this is because these small acts of these small acts of like content creation can lead to other things new. It may help us connect better. When it comes down to living in a small town, or in a um, or going to work and finding out that maybe somebody may know one thing better than the other. Um, there's basically also another book that I was bringing up too, which is called the Principles by Ray Dalio, and he brings up in there that we have to learn how to delegate our our tasks that we can't do so well, or if you change that up a little bit, that someone can do better than us. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to actually suck at what you do, but you might have to find a way to delegate what you can do better on your own. And for instance, there's terminology for um, what a CEO actually is. And a CEO is supposed to kind of like have the vision, the mindset for the company as a whole, and they make the moves. He or she makes the moves for the company as a whole, but he or she may not be a designer or an engineer or a product manager per se, but they'll be able to see what the company actually needs to make its fulfillment as a whole, but not necessarily work on the nitty gritty. Now, so that's basically what you should do for yourself too, and that's where it comes down to learning how to learn, and building a business, and a business as in like you are a business. I am a business. I should handle my life as if it is a business. I should make moves, and I should make um, choices that are good for me. And because it's good for me, it will be good for someone else, because you will change. You will hopefully gravitate people who are around you who are like you, that can do those things, or that could work with you. Um, you don't want to go ahead and be too aggressive either, because we've learned, throughout our history, that the information that we have come up with, like the information we've basically we come to the conclusion that we are not in any way going to be able to make any people do anything through anger or through aggression. People have to be able to feel they can make their own choices. We have to use love and being mindful and empathetic to other people is going to be really important too. And these are skills that we don't necessarily we take for granted, um, because sometimes if we stay in the same groups for so long, that um, we don't have to necessarily worry about that, because those people kind of know how we are and they kind of like work around us. But we're probably moving into a situation now in 2020 where we're going to be working with strangers a lot, meaning that people online are going to be more, as much as I feel people are trying to avoid the contact of working online because of the bigger problem that people will um, take something from them or have access to something, or Big Brother is gonna be figuring out. But all these things you have to find out what are the pros and cons of us working together. So me even making this video right now is a way to kind of stand out in the world for people who understand that this video might be helpful to them. It may not. Um, so that's one of the things I'm trying to get. I'm trying to put through in these type of videos, these topics of like learning how to learn and focusing on like why this is so important. Um, so bringing that back to this actual video, is that I actually started to keep a journal, and here's like basically a journal of mine that I keep, and I have like relatively, can't really see too much around here, but I keep all types of things inside of it. Every day I write my name, my information in it in linear fashion, and I try to if I watch a video, a YouTube video, for instance, I will write it. I will write down like the name of the video, what the topics were. If I'm reading a book, I'll try to write down the information that comes up from it, instead of me just reading it and just letting it go in one ear and one out the other. This is more like constructive learning, for me, organizing my thoughts. And then I will try to sit down with a blog or a video talk like this and can go backwards into time talking about what I was actually going to speak about. And this is really great when it comes down to trying to write, more. And I feel like writing is going to be something that everybody's going to have to learn how to do. And maybe not even just writing where you're writing just like like a book or anything, but just writing in general. I find that writing helps you um, to make sure that your thoughts are consistent with your writing. It's like your words are consistent with your thoughts, and then you can easily share this with other people. And this is where the liking and sharing will actually come into play. Some people may feel that this is kind of scary because now your thoughts are out there and people can hurt you, but I feel that we all truthfully want what's good for one another, and the more that you get rid of the distractions around you, and you start to like the things that you're liking, and you share those things, you'll see how great it is to how other people will look at what you're doing and what you're sharing, and they gravitate to them. So, for example, if you have a favorite YouTube channel, and the person or the people on the YouTube channel are a big influence to you in your life and the way you think, people that are on that channel should be people who actually like that stuff, and you enjoy, you agree with what they say. That is where um, the benefit of the channel will go from. And like if you do not agree with that person's or that YouTube channel's ideas, you actually can show your you can actually can prove your what we could say your personal opinion by like not saying anything at all. Not saying anything at all is just as strong as saying trying to say something negative, because we only have so much time in the day. We only have so much time on this earth. Our time is limited. So you should be focusing on what's strong for you. You will always find something you disagree with, you know? And I think that sometimes it's always harder to maybe find things that you are agree with, because if that takes more time, and the more things you learn, though your ideas or your opinions may change. But in order to make sure that you're actually thinking, constructively, and you're not necessarily just running your mouth for random reasons, keeping a journal and keeping yourself honest is by posting your things online. So yeah, so I think that this is really great when it comes down to actually like learning something new. I feel like using the internet is a way to find people who are like you and try to talk with them. Make friends with people. Put videos online like this with yourself. You don't have to worry about people sharing the information that they can use against you. Focus on the fact that most people have very similar thoughts and ideas. Everybody doesn't. Everybody really much has like we have like if you have like a Venn diagram, we have a lot of mutual things we have in common. And the key is to quickly find the people that you have in common and work together to solve these solutions, because nothing is actually done by yourself. And I think that is about yep about 12 minutes there. So thank you for listening. In the next video, I think I'm gonna start to talk a little bit about the books I'm reading, and I want to maybe try to share those books in. I'm gonna make a list, and I'm gonna share those books with you through like a Google Doc, and we can probably talk about why I feel like after reading these books, that how they help change my opinion and my ideas on different topics, and where we can go from there. Ja.